The bike I'm reviewing today is crazy, man. Listen to these specs. It's got dual 1200 watt motors for a grand total of 2400 watts, 160 newton meters of torque, dual 20 amp hour batteries, and they say a range of up to 150 miles. It's probably going to be much lower with the way I ride a bike, but we'll see when we take it outside for all these tests. Oh, and they even say this bike goes up to 35 miles an hour. All that for the insanely low price of $15.99. It's called the Meelod DK300 Max, and today we're gonna review it. We're gonna start by taking a close look at everything on the bike, and then we'll take it outside for a real-world test to help you find out whether it's the right bike for you or not. If you're just here to see how it performs, the ride starts here. But right now, let's take a quick look at everything you get when you buy a DK300 Max from Meelod. So I'm gonna charge these batteries for our ride, but take a look at this. This single charger has 2 battery leads. That's so handy. Most companies will give you 2 chargers, so that's a lot to carry with you on a ride. Or even worse, they're just gonna give you 1 charger that works for both batteries. So you're only gonna be able to charge 1 battery at a time. So now we've got 1 charger, 2 leads, 2 batteries at 20 amp hours each. So if both these batteries were empty, it would take about 10 hours to charge. Let's start up front today. The DK300 Max rolls on a set of 20-inch by 4-inch wide CST Scout tires. These are E-Moped specific, and these are actually the same tires you're gonna find on the Ride 1 Up Rev 1. Great street tires. I mean, they'll take you off-road a little bit, but I really wouldn't do much more than gravel paths or maybe some light trails. These are really designed to shine on the road. And up here on the front wheel, this is the first of 2 1200 watt motors. Look at this fork. It's got a super huge axle as well as some safeties underneath so that the motor doesn't pull out. You get a quick disconnect right here, so if you ever need to fix a flat tire, all you have to do is disconnect the motor and take the wheel out. Here's the front LED headlight. You get some daytime running lights on the side and a low and high beam. Look at all the spacers below the stem. This is gonna give you a ton of adjustability as far as the height of the stem goes. You can take a couple off the bottom and put them on top if you need to lower the bars. The handlebars are BMX style. What I like about this is that the screen's off to the side, so this gives you a ton of real estate here to mount some accessories. You can put a bunch of stuff up here, like a phone mount, a drink holder, and whatever else you want in front of you. The DK300 Max comes with a set of Meelod branded hydraulic disc brakes. They do have adjustments here, so you can bring the lever in or out depending on how big your hands are. Here's a shot of the grips. They're lock-on both sides, they're ergonomic, and they've got some really, really grippy rubber. And next to the grip, you're gonna get a thumb throttle and a standard 7-speed Shimano shifter. And over on the left side, you've got another lock-on grip on both sides, same ergonomic style. You get a remote for your lights, turn signals, and horn. And your LCD display with the plus and minus button for your pedal assist modes, your power button. And this is where you're gonna find your speedometer, pedal assist modes, your trip meter, everything you need while you're on a ride. We'll turn it on in just a sec, but right now my batteries are completely flat. So let's wait a couple more minutes. Let's take a look at the rest of the bike. Here are the brackets where you're gonna mount the batteries. There's one inside the frame down here, and there's one up here that kind of looks like a gas tank. The DK300 Max is a full suspension frame. It's got a big coil spring in the back. Looks like you can adjust the spring's preload up here. This will compress the spring a little bit, making it stiffer if you're a heavier rider. Look at this seat. Nice and cushy. It's actually not super soft. It's fairly stiff. This is probably because it's brand new, but I'm sure that'll wear in. Take a look at this. There's a couple of mounting spots back here. So I'm pretty sure Meelod makes a rack that's meant for this bike so you can carry some cargo in the back. I didn't get one with this bike, but I'll put a picture of it on the screen and a link in the description. And back here you get a pre-wired in rear tail light. This lights up, it works with the brake, and it's got turn signals on both sides. We'll turn it on in just a sec, but first, let's take a look at the drivetrain. The bike comes with a 7-speed Shimano tourney derailleur that's protected by a derailleur cage. You get a 7-speed Shimano freewheel. And up front here, the chainring's actually pretty small. This is probably foreshadowing that we're not gonna be pedaling this bike a whole lot. The cranks are generic, unbranded, and same with the pedals, but they're metal, so they won't wear out like plastic ones. And back here, you get the second 1200 watt motor. Nice thing with this bike is that you can run both motors at the same time, only run the rear or only run the front. You decide. The other thing I like about this bike is that all the wires and the controller are hidden in here. These are tucked away, hidden, out of the elements. But if you're gonna upgrade this bike or ever needed to do some troubleshooting, this is still easy to access. Okay, I think this battery's charged enough to get some juice on the bike. The battery up top's got a switch up here you gotta turn on to get some power to the bike. There we go. Now we can turn our screen on. Okay, let's go through it. There's a couple icons on the top here. You get an icon up here to tell you the lights are on. like this. Next, there's an arrow. It looks like we might be able to link this bike to an app, maybe to get some GPS. There's a wrench if the bike needs some servicing. Looks like we get cruise control on this bike. And there's a Bluetooth option, so we must be able to link our phone to the bike. The plus and minus buttons here will go up our 5 pedal assist modes. We get our speed right in the middle in miles or kilometers an hour. Here we get a battery bar as well as percentage. And then down here we've got the odometer, the trip, and the time spent on the bike. Nice and simple. The screen's pretty small, but you know what? It's nice and contrasty, and like I said, I like how it's off to the side. This gives you a ton of room on the handlebar here to mount some extra accessories. Take a look at these. I've never seen these before. This is where they put the turn signals, right underneath the handlebar. Let's see how they work. Whoa, these are bright. Nice. Let's turn the headlight on. Okay, so to turn the headlight, first thing I gotta do is hold the plus button. That'll turn our daytime running lights as well as our low beam on. Nice, bright center beam. And we get a high beam as well. This is gonna give us a little extra reach on the road when there's no other cars coming. I think I like the low beam better, it's wider. And as promised, here's what the rear taillight looks like. This is lights off, daytime running lights, brake application just blinks, and turn signals. Nice. Okay, let's see how fast the bike will go without anybody on it. I'm gonna make sure I'm in pedal assist number 5, and I'm just gonna keep the rear motor on. If you did wanna switch between rear, front, or both motors, all you have to do is click the power button here. There you go. Dual motor, now they're both orange. Just the front motor, or just the rear. Let's see how fast it'll go. Well, as advertised, 35 miles an hour. Now, will it do 35 miles an hour with me on it? Time will tell. Suspension right now is set at its softest. It can go stiffer. So if you're a bigger rider, you got no problems on this guy. But even me right now at 190 pounds, I can easily get some travel out of the rear shock. Handlebars are just at a comfortable spot. I wouldn't change anything on this bike right now. It just feels like home. Now, with the pedals all the way up top here, I mean, your knees do come up. So if you're a taller rider, like 6'2", 6'3", and above, this might not be the most comfortable bike for you. But for anybody in the 5'5" to 6'2" range, this bike should be plenty comfortable. So I can reach the ground almost flat-footed. So pretty low standover, nice and comfortable. I love the sitting position on this thing. Can't wait to take it out for a ride. Oh, hey there. Today, we're on the maiden voyage on the Meelod DK300 Max. I'm super excited to show you guys this bike. For the money, this has the potential to be the best value dual motor bike on the market right now. Let me show you this thing. I mean, come on. Dual 20 amp hour batteries, dual 1200 watt motors, full suspension, moped style bike, and it's on sale for $15.99 right now. Get out of here. So Meelod promises a lot on their website about this bike. Let's see if it lives up to the hype. Let's see what kind of speed we can get going downhill. I've got it in single motor right now. I really don't want to open it up until we get to Test Drive Island. "36 miles an hour downhill, 37, 38, 39 miles an hour downhill." So no, it doesn't look like this motor is restricted at all. Okay, you guys all know this spot. There's my fire hydrant. I've got about a 15% grade hill up ahead. It's nice and long, so I should see what kind of speed the bike can maintain. I'm gonna go all the way up to pedal assist 5 and make sure we're in dual motor. You guys ready? 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Front wheel spun a little bit. Okay, so we got 24 miles an hour just before the hill starts. Let's see what kind of speed we can maintain uphill. Oh
man, this thing has so much power. This is a good hill climbing experience. 22 miles an hour uphill. And yeah, I've got 23, 22. Looks like the speedometer's accurate. Oh. So much power on this thing. And the streets are wet and frosty this morning. I'm gonna have to be careful. Let's go over to Test Drive Island, unlock the bike, and see what kind of top speed we can reach. But just before we get on to Test Drive Island and let this thing stretch its legs, let's see how fast it accelerates. I've got a driveway pull out up ahead here. If I can get up to 20 miles an hour before the driveway, we got a fast bike. If not, it's not even a question. I know it's gonna do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! 10, 15, 20 miles an hour already. And this thing just wants to keep going. Okay, let's take this thing somewhere safe and really see what it's got in the cells. Just like that, we're on Test Drive Island. Beautiful, cold morning. Hopefully the cold weather is not going to affect the batteries and the power of the bike too much, because Meelod on their website says that this bike can reach 35 miles an hour. Hopefully it's not over promising and under delivering. Time to see what you guys all want to know. How fast this thing can go. I've got in pedal assist 5, dual motor, throttle only. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go. Woo! Little front wheel spin. That never gets old. Okay, I'm just gonna go by the GPS here because I trust that. I've got 28 miles an hour already. 30. 32. 33. Let's tuck down. 34. So 34 is as fast as I got it going. That might be because of 2 reasons. One, it's like 2 degrees Celsius this morning. It's beautiful, it's clear, but it's hella cold. And 2, I'm down to about 85% battery. I've already done a couple hill tests. I've already filmed the intro for the video. You know, maybe with a fully charged dual battery setup at 100%, maybe we could squeeze out 35. But 34 miles an hour, that's close enough for me. Nice. So moped-style e-bikes are not known for being super comfortable to pedal. But you're buying a bicycle, maybe you're gonna want to pedal this. I don't know. I'm not. I would ride this throttle only everywhere I go. But let's see what it's like to pedal anyways. I've got the bike in the granny gear right now. I've got a pedal assist 0, so this should give me no assistance whatsoever. And it's no fun. But I can tell you right now, this is not a comfortable bike to pedal. I mean, you can pedal it, right? If you absolutely need to limp home on a flat road because you ran out of battery, I mean, it's doable, right? I mean, you're gonna suffer, but it's doable. So let's go up to pedal assist 1. There we go. I'm gonna drop a couple of gears. Like, look at this. I'm in pedal assist 1 already. And it's getting me up to 18 miles an hour. Pedal assist 2. Like, I've already ran out of gears. This bike is not meant to pedal. 22 miles an hour. Pedal assist 3. 24. Pedal assist 4. 27, 28 miles an hour, and pedal assist 5. Like, I've been ghost pedaling since pedal assist 2. 30 miles an hour, 31. Yeah, pedal assist will get you up to about 30 miles an hour. You want to go faster, you just use the throttle. So guys, as always, I do these reviews for you. I want to show you how the bike rides. So I'm going to do tests that you can see. You can see how fast the bike goes. You can see how quickly it accelerates. You can see how quickly it stops or doesn't. You can see how it climbs. You can see how it goes off-road. There's a couple of things I'm going to need to touch on as far as how the bike feels to ride. And for that, you're just going to have to trust me. I've ridden a ton of bikes in the last year or so, and I'm gonna compare this one to a couple of the other ones I've ridden, just to maybe help you guys with your decision. But so far, I'm really digging the ride on this guy. Everything feels tight, everything feels like great quality. So far, it's living up to the hype. Okay, let's set up for the brake test real quick. If you've seen my other videos, I always do the brake test in this location. I've got a sign here and about a 20-foot distance to the first pylon here, and this is where I'm gonna slam on the brakes with the DK300 Max's little 160 millimeter rotors. I can't believe I'm saying this. For a bike this heavy with dual motors, dual batteries, that goes this fast, I can't believe that Meelod decided to put tiny little 160 mil rotors on there. I mean, maybe they know something I don't, but if it was me speccing a bike like this, especially with a 30, 34, 35 mile an hour top speed, I would have definitely put something bigger on there. At least 180, if not 203s like you'd see on most bikes in this category. And it's not even a price savings anyways, right? Like, you're gonna spend, you know, 20-30 bucks on these rotors. Why not spend 35-40 bucks on, you know, bigger rotors? It's not a huge cost savings. You have to put a rotor on the bike, right? So I don't know, maybe they know something I don't. Let's take the bike, turn it around, and you guys know my philosophy with brakes, right? If a bike goes a certain speed, it should have the braking power to come to a stop within a certain distance. And to me, that 20-foot distance is more than enough room to come to a complete stop. Okay, so let's keep it fair. 28 miles an hour is the legal top speed you should be riding this bike on the roads, right? So let's get to at least 28 miles an hour before that first pylon, and then I'm gonna slam on the brakes. Hopefully I come to a stop before that second pylon. Let's see what happens. Let's go into dual motor. Oh, so much acceleration on this thing. It's insane. Okay, here we go. I've got 27, 28 miles an hour here, and brake. What? I don't have any words. It did it. Came to a stop before the 20-foot distance. Imagine how much quicker I could have stopped with bigger rotors. If I was to keep this bike for myself and ride it all the time, that would be one of the first things I would do, is just get some adapters, get some bigger rotors on there. I'd probably go with 203s myself just to get the ultimate and biting power. But I mean, it did the trick, right? I went 28 miles an hour and stopped within the distance. As far as braking's concerned, everything that's going on here gets a check mark from me. Okay, time to take the DK300 Max off-road and onto the beach. I'm a little bit worried because this bike has a ton of power and a ton of torque. And I know that the trail in here is going to be wet, slippery, muddy, so I'm going to try to keep it tame. I might even just keep it in single motor for the trail and then put it in dual motor once we get onto the sand. We'll see. The other thing that worries me are these tires. I mean, they're really good on the road. These are the same tires you get on the Ride 1 Up Rev 1. Great road tires. And for a moped style bike, those are some of the best tires you can get as far as bike tires go, before you get into the motorcycle range tires. But as far as bike tires go for a moped style bike, this is as good as it gets. Okay, let's see what kind of trouble we can get up to. Okay, pedal assist 5. I'm gonna keep it in single motor here. Let's go off-road. Okay, let's see what the traction's like. Oh yeah, super wet and slippery. Okay. Okay. Keep it upright, Ben. I'm just sliding out all over the place. Okay. Let's try and stay dry and clean. Maybe around here. Low bridge. Okay, we're through. Another big mud puddle. Okay, let's open it up here. As far as the ride goes, it's super comfortable. Oh man, the water's super high today. And the sand looks wet. I don't want to get stuck in there. Okay, let's see what kind of trouble we can get up to on the beach. I'm gonna go pedal assist 5, obviously dual motor for this. Let's see if we can do a little loop here and scare the birds. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Whoa. Oh, it's deep here. Man, this thing has so much torque. It's insane. No traction with these tires, but at least they're fat so they don't dig in too much. Ooh, I spoke too soon. Okay, let's try to stay in the dry sand. Man, this thing has so much power. It's insane. So much torque. Okay, let's have some fun. Okay, that was fun. Let's get ourselves off the beach, shall we? There's my divots. Okay, here we go. Stay upright. Man, whoa. I'm sure if you gave this thing some off-road tires, it would do amazing out here. It's super comfortable. The suspension works great. I mean, for a $1,500 bike, this is really good. Okay, take it easy. I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna go back to single motor mode. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The ruts in here is so deep. And it just wants to slide out. It's that greasy mud, you know, like the super slippery kind. Let's go, DK. I wonder if DK stands for Donkey Kong. Probably not, but it'd be funny if it did. All right. Okay, so here's a really cool feature about this bike. The rear end is actually really long. That does 2 things. One, it keeps the traction on the rear wheel when you're accelerating. And 2, a long wheelbase makes for a really stable bike when it gets going fast. So let's get some speed and see what the DK300 Max is like when we're doing some S-turns. Hey, no cars coming. Let's lean the bike over. Yes. It's so stable. It's not twitchy at all. It's just long and cool. It's just long and stable. And these Scout tires are perfect for a bike like this. These are the same tires you find on the Rev 1 from Ride 1 Up. They're great road tires. I absolutely love these. Oh man, Chef's kiss. Mwah. So I want to take 2 minutes and talk about ride quality and bike quality overall. And let's start with the ergonomics, the contact points. The grips, I give these things a solid 9.5 out of 10. They're ergonomic. I mean, I prefer the round grips because I've got a mountain biking background, but these ergonomic grips feel awesome. They're super grippy, they're soft. I've got gloves on and I can absolutely, like, they stick onto the grips. It's perfect. And they lock on both sides. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these grips. Absolutely perfect to have on a bike like this. The pedals are pretty cheap Wellgo pedals. They're metal though, right? So they'll last a long time. They're not gonna wear out like plastic ones. So, you know, decent pedals, just somewhere to rest your feet. You're not gonna pedal this bike a whole lot, so just place your feet on there and then ride this bike like a little motorcycle. The seat is awesome. It's got a little lip on the back, so it kind of cradles your bum so you don't really slide off the back. This thing's got a lot of acceleration, so this is really nice to have. It's got lots of cushion. I don't know if it's because the bike's brand new, but the seat feels a little stiff. When the bike's new, I'd rather a stiff seat than a really cushy one, you know, because it's only gonna get softer with age, right? I mean, it's comfortable, it's nice and wide. Pedaling the bike, it's narrow at the front, so pedaling the bike is not a ton of rubbage on my thighs. Seat's comfy. I've got no problems with it, other than being a little bit stiff, but I'm sure that'll wear in. As far as the sitting position on this bike, I'm 5'9", and I absolutely love the sitting position here. You know, if you're anywhere between 5'7" and 6'2", you're gonna find a happy place on this bike. If you're under that, you're probably gonna have a hard time reaching the ground. This is a pretty tall bike. Just sitting down right now, and I'm reaching the ground with my tippy toes. I can't go flat-footed on the ground. So if you're, you know, 5'5", 5'6", you might just be able to reach the ground, maybe lean it over with the single peg. It's a pretty tall bike, right? Most of these moped-style e-bikes, you can't adjust the seat, right? So you kind of stuck to that sitting position. But for me at 5'9", you know, plus or minus a little bit, you're gonna find a happy position on this bike, guaranteed. The stem's got a lot of riser on it, right? And you can always get taller riser bars if that's what you wanted. But if you're anywhere over 6'2", 6'3", I mean, look at this, like my knees come well above the battery, right? So I probably wouldn't recommend this for a really tall rider. As far as build and bike quality, I'm gonna give this thing a solid 9 out of 10. It feels great. There are 0 rattles on this thing. Nothing clinks and clanks. The suspension feels great. The back the back is pretty stiff, but I think they have to do that because of heavier riders, right? But for me at 190 pounds, I can easily get some motion out of the back, the front as well. You know, it feels really soft. It feels really good. There's no harsh spring at the end of its stroke. It's really soft, really nice. And as far as the electronics go on the bike, I mean, everything's on here. I get my battery percentage, I get my pedal assist modes, I get my speed, my odometer, I get to see what motor's on. Everything's on the screen. It's not massive, but having the screen over here gives you a ton of real estate up here, front and center. You mount your phone, mount a speaker, mount a camera, whatever you want to do, right? Having the screen off to the side gives you a ton of room to put accessories here. You can even put a cup holder right here. And for performance, well, you guys saw, right? It definitely has got the speed. It's got a huge amount of torque, 160 Newton meters. Okay, just for fun, let's see what the bike's like to climb in single motor. There's my fire hydrant. There's the same hill. Let's go single motor mode. Pedal assist 5. And see what I get up the hill. Okay, 13, 12. If I get below 5 miles an hour, I'm turning the other motor on. Yeah, 9 miles an hour. This is such a heavy bike with the dual battery and the dual motor. Not running the other motor on a hill, and this is what you get, about 10 miles an hour. Let's turn the second motor on. There we go. Accelerating uphill. This is what you want. 160 Newton meters, guys. Nice. Back up to 21 miles an hour uphill. Beautiful. And this is all with 50% left in the battery, so really good performance still. Okay, range report. I've just hit the 50% mark, 51% mark here with on the display, and I'm about 15 miles into my ride. If this is all accurate, riding the bike in full power, dual motor, realistic range, you're probably going to get anywhere between 25 to 30 miles. The 150 miles they advertise on their website is completely overinflated. I mean, you probably have to weigh 25 pounds soaking wet and be riding this thing with the wind downhill both ways in, you know, the lowest power mode the bike can go. So realistically, riding it the way it's supposed to be ridden, you know, maybe 30-35 miles at most you're gonna get with this thing. And if you are planning a long ride, super easy. Just notch the bike down into single motor mode when you're on the flat roads. You can still get up to speed, you just don't get the acceleration, right? So $1 million question, who should buy the DK300 Max? Who is it for? In my personal opinion, it's gonna be for someone who's a little bit of a daredevil, because this thing is fast and it has a ton of acceleration. Like, I probably wouldn't recommend this for a newbie, you know, someone who's never owned an e-bike before, someone who doesn't really know how to handle power like this and acceleration. You can get into a lot of trouble with a front motor with this much torque. If you've owned an e-bike before, you know how to handle them. This thing is a ton of fun, man. Something you kind of work up to. If you have a lot of hills around your house, if you know, you really want to take it up the mountains, maybe some dirt roads and stuff like that, do some climbs with it. It'll get you far, it'll get you up, no problems. Also, if you're a heavier rider, if you're north of 200 pounds, this thing is what you need, right? You need torque, you need power to climb hills. You know, a little 5 or 750 watt motor is just not gonna cut it. You're gonna have to put in a lot of your own pedal power with a bike like that. But this, as far as I'm concerned, for $15.99, Meelod's pretty much giving this thing away. And if I was to compare it to something else very, very similar I've reviewed just recently, the FreeSky Warrior Pro was also dual motor. It only had a single battery though. It was only 25 amp hours. This thing's 40 amp hours with dual batteries, right? And I think it's even cheaper. Now, mind you, the FreeSky did have better brakes, I'll give it that, right? They were much bigger rotors, and I'm pretty sure they were 4-piston calipers, but this is something that you could easily upgrade. It'll cost you that $100 difference, but you end up with the dual battery setup and a bike with a ton of power. Also, if you ask me, I kind of give the edge to the Meelod as far as looks are concerned. The look of this e-bike is much more my style. I love the moped-style e-bikes, you guys know that, right? Little electric motorcycle, it's just so much fun to ride. If you are a taller rider though, and you did want to adjust that seat up and down, the FreeSky Warrior Pro is definitely something to look at. But if you want something like a little electric motorcycle to putt around town, throttle only, right? Good looks, good power, great range, take a look at this. And don't wait too long. This sale price is not gonna last forever. And if the DK300 Max from Meelod is not the perfect bike for you, that's okay. Maybe the bike in this video will be more of what you're looking for. I'll see you guys over there.